afternoon, everyone. We're your shift right after dinner, lunch. And we're about to start a very important session today. It's a workshop session I thought that would be really critical for people who are in the field of actually for every entrepreneur, not just travel entrepreneurs, for every entrepreneur. It is critical to know how to communicate and how to base your complete communication with consciousness, with purpose, and only then can you have profitability. In a world where there's a chaos of noise, where there's a lot of white noise, where every social channel is demanding your attention, where people have a nano attention span, where there are millions of videos in a second being uploaded, how do you differentiate yourself? There are only two ways. One is your message. The second would be how you actually create your understanding in your people of what you're trying to say, or what we truly know as immersive communication. And one such person who's mastered this art of doing it is this lovely lady here who's joining me called Vimla Dalamal, my bad. Vimla Dalamal is a communication coach, educated and worked in three multiple geographies: India, UAE, and Africa. And this sensitized Vimla Dalamal and gave her the deep skills to communicate across cultures. Her experience made her a firm believer in self-development and education and gave her the understanding that this is the key of a successful life. Vimla then attended global conventions, workshops, and plenty of courses to deepen her knowledge and skills. Besides that, Vimla is a passionate foodie, a restaurant owner, a travel and food blogger. And she then took on the role of being a trustee and a brand ambassador for social betterment and humanitarian projects within Nigeria and India. These activities that she undertook encompassed fundraising for local charities, international emergency requirements, bridging cooperation between culturally, socially diverse countries like India and Nigeria, and thus ensuring very successful deliveries of such projects. This came from her patience and her tested skills of communication. She further honed her skills further, authentically communicating and creating sessions for people across the world to learn how to communicate and work in a symbolic and peaceful manner. Her communication needs to be, Vimla says, our communication needs to be crafted with consciousness, care, and with certain skills which are increasingly missing in a highly digitized world. This also made her realize that communication is a critical factor in life, a skill she had learned how to inculcate. Better communications mean better control and better understanding. This is the ideology, and this power of communication can give you success in any part of the life. This is when the Vimla Dalamal Communication Consultancy was born. The primary vision of this communication consultancy is to create communication towards peace, positivity in a very peaceful manner. And she set up a communication training set which helps support people to successfully bridge this ever-widening communication gap in a succinct, self-confident, and humane manner. Let's take it away, Vimla. Please tell us a little bit about yourself before we go into the session and how we can take tools and goals away from where we can take it forward.
Thank you, Sonia, for that wonderful introduction. I'm very flattered. And hello and a warm welcome to all of you on this session. Thank you for being here and joining me on this workshop of communication with purpose in peace towards profitable outcomes. The title itself holds so much meaning and promise, and my intention today is that you walk away with tips and tools to achieve this, along with the decision to apply them. I cannot stress more strongly the importance of decision. Everything follows the decision. With decision comes action. Have you ever known people who cannot make up their mind about something? They can sit in the armchair for hours and drive you mad. Learning involves practice, and I urge you to continue using the tools I'm going to share till they become second nature. New ways or habits have to be broken into, and a bit like new shoes, they may give discomfort when you're breaking them in. Do persist in applying the tools. I now request you to be willing to take a drink of humility and know you can do better because you don't know everything. There is always something one can learn that you don't already know. To create an ideal situation, you have to create an ideal you, and that is achieved by awareness, knowledge, as well as application. I confess that many years ago, I had the opinion that I was highly proficient in the English language, and when I was urged to refer to a dictionary to get a full understanding of simple words, I resisted very hard as I lacked humility. Needless to say, I now refer to the Merriam-Webster frequently, even if I think I know part of the meaning of a word. Incomplete or partial knowledge is always a setback. It is good practice to be thorough. Before we begin, I would like you to take a minute or two to write down a goal you hope to achieve. Name, want, get your product. That's the winning routine. You have to tell yourself what to be before you can be. In many of the musical shows that I have seen, you have a person who will make a goal and then they'll be struggling to get it for the rest of the show. If you remember the song in The Little Mermaid, her goal is to be where people are. In My Fair Lady, Eliza sings, "All I want is a room somewhere." And in Mary Poppins, the children say what kind of nanny they want. Name what you want. At times, a person may realize he doesn't really want what he has named. He may be afraid of fame or losing what he already has. Check out that you want what you name. Next, write down an area in which you seek improvement and briefly describe the current status quo. Some examples of the latter point would be to bring more efficiency in my office, have a better relationship with my colleagues, or have my ideas accepted by others. You may want to create new income sources, do more good things for the world, or have more fun. Write down what you desire to improve. Describe the present status quo in that area. You can choose to write about a personal problem too. This exercise is for your reflection, and I will not be asking you to share unless you want to, so do be candid. When you're finished, please inform me on the chat and we can proceed. In the meantime, while you're writing, I'll just say a few things about me, which Sanya may not have included. So those who don't know me, I have worked in many industries with people of various cultures and background. I have lived in India, Africa, England, and I'm currently in the UAE. A homemaker and a mother of 3, I worked extensively, traveled constantly, and immersed myself in different cultures. My main purpose in life is to help others and contribute with social betterment programs as well as coaching. In all my endeavors, I discovered that communication was a key factor to bring about cooperation, understanding, better control, and inevitably best results. Even in families, communication is the most important. If you're rearing children, it's what you put out across to them. One's ability to communicate can spell the difference between success or failure in all aspects of life. You will notice that those people you know who are successful in their endeavors generally have a high ability to communicate. Those who are not successful do not possess that ability to communicate perfectly. Communication is not just a way of getting along in life. It is the heart of life. It is the senior factor in understanding life and living it successfully. We instinctively revere the great artist, painter, or musician, and society as a whole looks upon them as not quite ordinary beings. And they're not. But the understanding and skilled use of communication is not only for the artist, it is for anyone, it is for you. Communication is a skill that can be learnt and enhanced. The answer to any situation is always more communication and more communication, not less. Yet the approach and the way you communicate is necessary to bring about success. This brings us back to the title of the workshop, and I'm going to break it up into the simplest form for better understanding. Communication is the interchange of energy from one being to another. It is the relay of ideas, thoughts, objects, or words from one person to another or others, or from a person to oneself. Yes, your personal narrative and how you address yourself is very significant too. Remember the times you call yourself stupid or unlucky, or even that you will never get to do something. You're the one who never wins raffles. That is not good communication or good energy to yourself. Money is also a communication flow. Perceptions are communication, as sight, sound, and tactile are flows that come in from the environment. In this world of information, you're bombarded with sounds, images, and information at all times. What can you do? Learn to be selective and allow yourself to partake only of the high quality perceptions, images, and true data. Information, data, and theories are only true if they are true for you. Examine them, apply them, and see if you get results in application before you accept them. Your appearance is a communication to others. Looking clean, well-groomed, and with a good demeanor means you're adding aesthetics to the environment. Fit with ethnic rules. It gives importance to others. A clean desk and clean room, a plant or art on the wall can be the detail that cinches the deal for your company. To communicate, intention is number one in importance. The intention is what you want to happen, what you're looking to achieve. It is the wave that carries the message. You form the intention here, which can be to have the other person receive your communication and understand it. It can be an intention to express gratitude or an emotion. The intention gets the message across. The intention has to be also genuine and constructive. Sincerity plays a large part in the exchange. It is so easy to decipher flattery and insincerity, and the recipient of your communication, if it is insincere, will definitely figure that out. Thought waves communicate faster than words. Keep your intention certain and have no doubt. The second thing to remember is that your emotional tone is important. It plays a big part in the recipient's duplication of your idea or message. Imagine you're presenting a big idea to an investor and you present it with fear, thinking that the amount you're requesting will be turned down or that your idea is not workable. Now think of presenting it with the emotion of boredom or apathy, hopelessness because you don't think you will get the investment. The person you're targeting is not going to have confidence or interest in you. Enthusiasm or cheerfulness easily gets the recipient to be interested. You have to be aware of the ability to turn emotion off and on. Bad or negative emotion comes into play when you cannot control a situation. Clarity comes in when you know you can cause or create what you want. In the song Red Shoes, Dolly Parton puts on red shoes, stomps around with new confidence, and owns the world. Have high affinity for the person or persons you're communicating with. Affinity is the degree of liking you have for the person. Treat people like gods. Your communication lines are sacred. Maintain them. Have good manners. Good manners grants importance to another. If you are rude or fail to respect people, people will not only reject you, they will reject your ideas too. Do not alloy your communications to others or even to yourself with a lack of respect or with dislike or disdain. Remember that life is a group effort. None survive alone. So keep people on your side. The Japanese perfected the art of communication by their gift giving. There was etiquette involved in the action and more focus on the act than the actual gift. It was an action of respect, gratitude, and admiration. In business meetings, it is a sign of how motivated you are to make things work out. Gifts and business cards were presented with two hands and also accepted with both hands in Japan. That is the symbolism. So of course, I'm not telling you go out and buy gifts for all your business contacts, but you can keep the qualities of giving respect when you interact with them. The next point is attention. When you originate a communication, your attention has to be on the person or persons you're talking to. You also need attention from the person receiving it. A communication can be rejected because you did not have the other's attention. You need to command that interest and by intention. If you realize that everything emanates from you, it begins with you, then you take responsibility for the other person to receive your communication. Your manner should be relaxed and comfortable. You also have to be present in the moment. Many people are thinking of other things when talking or listening to others. It's very common these days, and it's labeled as multitasking. Looking at your screens, phones, or managing two conversations at one time is not good communication. When you speak to a person or you're writing to them, you have to give whole and undivided attention, as well as demanding the same of them. If they don't grant acceptance or cooperation for your ideas, then the communication has failed and you need to see how you can do it better. Interest is another point. When you're originating the communication, you need to be interested in the people or the person you're communicating to. When you ramble on without any point or give no relevant or valid information, you are bound to lose interest from the other person. You should not let your interest wane, as that is not good communication. Listening, that is very important. Listening to others is granting them life and it's validating them. The best way to get someone's attention is to start with something they can agree upon and relate to, and slowly build it up on a gradient towards what you want to communicate. You meet a person who's a sports enthusiast and you talk to him about art and he shows no interest, then you're going to lose his interest immediately and attention. Find something he can agree with. It's a horrid, grey and miserable day and your boss has come in from the rain and you walk up to him enthusiastically proclaiming that you love the rain and you wish it rained more. Your conversation is not going to go far. On the other hand, you know that he likes soccer, he's been following the World Cup, and he went to see some games. You start talking to him about the games, and his interest goes up. You continue talking, and you see how he becomes more amenable, and you can then talk to him about anything. Even your request for better office furniture or staff bonuses will be met with agreement. Enthusiasm and success go hand in hand. Do you want to know which comes first? It is enthusiasm. Even if you have nothing to be happy about your situation, fake it and be cheerful for a week. You will see the difference. You are communicating your confidence to yourself and to others. Changing your mood can make a big difference to the entire environment. When you're cheerful, others around you, your employees and your colleagues are happier, and the customers stay in communication and take more services or products. Eventually, you won't have to fake it. And as the profits and successful outcomes come rolling in, your mood stays permanent. When you increase your emotional tone to a higher aesthetic, your personal performance increases. You get agreement from other people. When you're happier and cheerful, you get healthier, more alert, clear-headed, and energetic. People enjoy being around you as you are trustworthy, responsible, and genuinely cheerful. You will not be able to stop the flow of success. You will be able to make quicker, better decisions. You are a critic of others, and you'll help others succeed. Give importance to yourself also. Be eager to understand and help others, and you will receive cooperation. Be willing to accept responsibility and be trustworthy, and you will achieve your objectives despite all opposition. To attract money, one has to look at the purpose and use of your product. Is it pro-survival? Does it help anyone? Is it constructive or not? Then you have to make a plan of effort to get things into motion. Nothing comes without an exchange. Money flows in when you flow out with communications, actions, and work. Look at your work as a game. Sometimes something that you can influence, something you can enjoy. Seriousness is a killer to success. The next thing to know is that you must exercise control. Control is simply to start, change, or stop something. Anything negative, stop it. Anything new you want to introduce, create and start it. Something you don't like, change it. There is no such thing as failure. Don't use force in business or education. Nothing should be authoritarian. Success requires right knowledge and taking responsibility. Acknowledgements in communication is very important. When you're being spoken to, you need to listen and respond appropriately. Listening attentively is validating the person and his ideas. And even if you don't agree with him, it is a way to control the communication and situation. Communication is not just about receiving, it is about originating too. With TV programs and films and a lot of canned entertainment, we're always receiving information and communications and origination. You need to originate back. It is important to say what you want. You should also tell people about your company and your pro-survival services or products. You have to get people to notice you, brag it up. Employees who never tell their bosses about their terrific accomplishments do not get raises or promotions. Share stories about how you are personally helping customers or clients. Tell everyone who will listen. Doing good works or the production of good products is not enough. One has to publicize it to gain cooperation or agreement. Spread the news about your good work to everyone at your job, especially those who depend on you for their income, like your boss. Don't repel people with negative comments and constant complaints. You may not know how you influence others with your behavior. You want the people in your company to achieve more during the day. What should you do? You should move with speed and determination, and others will notice this and feel like walking around with speed and determination. You influence your boss and co-workers. If you want people at work to give you more support, start being more supportive yourself. After several days, you will see that you will get more support. An executive controls minds, bodies, placement of communication, raw materials, and products. He has to control his environment, and to do so, he has to be able to perceive and see his environment. For various reasons, one substitutes the real picture and sees something different from the reality. This can happen with relationships also. When you love someone, you may not see the real picture. When you have your own children, you may not see what is the real picture, and you may doubt what others are telling you, maybe their teachers or other people. Learn to observe. Another way to gain success is to communicate to yourself by writing out an ideal scene. Ideal is the perfect situation. By writing down your ideal scene, you're communicating to yourself what you want to have, the lifestyle you want. Think big. Use your imagination. In summary, to communicate to others, to gain cooperation, to bring understanding, and to have control of the environment and others, we should exercise these points. I'm just going to list them to you, and if you have any questions, please ask me at the end. The first thing to have is affinity and admiration. Like people around you. 2 is to establish agreement and interest. Talk about what they can agree with you first. Number 3 is intention. Know what you want to bring about with your communication. Number 4 is attention. Attention from the person you're communicating to, as well as your attention on them. Don't get distracted by other thoughts. Number 5 is duplication. To have the person you're communicating with copy what you're saying exactly and precisely. You may find that people from other cultures don't grasp the language maybe that you're speaking as fluently. They may not understand some idioms or some phrases or words that you're putting across to them. Make sure that you make yourself understandable. Understanding brings about understanding the person you're communicating with. This is the responsibility of the person communicating. If you give instructions, make sure that the person receiving them has understood it. Acknowledgement, listening carefully and acknowledging receipt of another's communication. It is not that you're agreeing or accepting, but you're indicating you received their communication. Number 8, treat people with respect. Number 9, upgrade your people skills. Make people feel wonderful, be genuine. Build trust with trustworthy people. Make new friends with anyone you like. Number 10, emotion, control it. Replace shyness, fear, or introversion with courage. Reduce feelings of anger, revenge, and the need to make others wrong. Start, change, stop your emotions or moods. Start being more enthusiastic and cheerful. Change if you're feeling down or sad. Stop your anger or upset at people. The last point is peace. So I looked up peace in the Merriam-Webster, of course, and peace brings about levels of trust, cooperation, and inclusiveness, even in the changing environment. And so when you communicate with people, you're bringing along cooperation, and peace. So keep communicating more and more. Is there anything that you would care to ask? Please write on the chat. Sonia, is there any questions you had? Did you feel that you needed to ask me something?
You're extremely succinct. You were very clear. You've given lovely bullet points that had takeaways, and I think that people could go away with lots of thoughts. Are there any questions from the audiences? We have quite a room full. Are there any questions from the room?
I hope I communicated the importance of communication.
I guess there aren't any questions. So with that being a given, here's wishing you a lot of really good communication or interpersonal communication between you, your families, and everyone. Thank you, Vimla, so much for doing this session with us. It was excellent. Thank you. I got that.
Thank you.
Thank you
Thank
very
you for
much.
giving me the importance of listening.
Thank you.